Hello and welcome back. In the last video we looked at command line fundamentals. In that video we had to first of all start by talking about file structures, and then we went further to talk about how we can use touch, make directory, how we can create files and the rest of them. In this video we're going to talk about numbers, operators and comments in Python. So let us see what we're going to get out of this course. We're going to understand the difference between ints and floats. We're going to be able to work or perform simple mathematical operations. Both we'll see the ones we've been using before, and then we get to learn some new ones. And then we'll see how we can add comments to our code and the importance of comments in programming. So let's quickly talk about numbers. We've been using numbers since we started performing arithmetic and the rest of them. But one thing we need to understand as we go further is that in Python programming, or in most of the programming languages, there are two types of numbers, which are integer and floating point numbers. So let us see the difference between integers and floating point numbers, which is for short int and float. So if we look at this, we will see that the difference is almost clear as we look at them. These ones are numbers that are containing decimal points, while these other ones are just numbers that are not containing decimal point, if I should use that word to make this comparison. So we have numbers like 6, 20, negative number 10, negative 5, 7, 4, and it goes on and on. This is just an example. And then for floating point numbers, we have 4.2, 3.482, and the rest of them. So that is the major difference between integer and floating point numbers, because in some programs you'll be writing, you specifically need integer numbers, and then in some you specifically need floating point numbers, so that you know which one to use at which point in time. So let us look at some basic mathematical operations which can be performed in Python. We can perform simple operations like addition, we can perform subtraction, and we can also make larger arithmetic operations. Let us see how this can be done in Python. I'll open my terminal. You can open your own as well, or your command prompt. Now I've opened my terminal. I'll make this a bit bigger so you can see. Let's create a folder which we can store our files so we can be organized. Let's see what we have here. Okay, I want to go into my desktop, and now I'm in my desktop. I have 3 files here. I'll want to make another one called Python course. You can see the file has been created. Let's go into that. Now in this file, in this folder which has been created, I would want to create a file called numbers with the Python extension, which is .py. This is very important. As long as you want to make a Python file, you should have the extension .py. If I press enter, you can see it has been created. Now I want to open this in my editor, which I installed Visual Code Studio. The best way I can open it from the terminal is by typing code space and dot. You can see it has opened. The editor did not just open, it added the files on this side of the editor. Now some of you may not be able to do this. If you are unable to do this, you should hold down your shift, your command, your shift and your P, and then try to do this. I explained this in the previous video. Install code command to path and click on this. If you can't see this, you begin to search for it, install, and it will come out for you. You click on that. Alright, now we are here. We can begin to write our code, but I'll not be using this for now. I just want to show you how this works. You can come back to your terminal, and I want you to, let's clear this. I want you to type Python or Python 3, whichever one you have, to open. That is, when you do that, you are now in the Python editor, which is on the terminal. Whatever Python code you write here will run. So let's perform some mathematical operations. Some of you may just type Python, it will work for you. Some of you need to type Python 3 to use the latest version which was installed. So if you type Python, you don't get Python 3.7, you should add Python 3. I'll go out of this by holding Command and C, Command and D. Now I'm out of it. If I am to type Python, you see I have Python 3.6.5, which is not what I need. That is why I'm going to type Python 3, and now I have Python 3.7, which is the one I installed. I can't perform clear here because it is not recognized in Python, so I have to go out of this and I'll type again. Alright, now we are here. We can perform. I want you to understand that whatever you perform here and whatever you perform here and save and run is going to be the same here. I just don't want to write a code, save and run, write a code, save and run. That is why we're using this. Coming back to what we were talking about, mathematical operators in Python, operations. We can perform operations like addition, which is 1 plus 1, 12 plus 3, 12 minus 5 plus 6, and on it continues. So these are mathematical operations which we can perform in Python, but there are lots more. So let's come back to what we were talking about. So let's see all the commonly used symbols which are in Python. We have the symbols here and we have their names here. Addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. We've done addition, subtraction, so let's see multiplication. 6 times 6, 36. 9 times 7, 63. 12 times 7, so you get the point. Let's see division. 8 divided by 3, 3.0. Now you can see this converts to a floating point number. Remember, I already told you that. So whenever you make a division, whenever you perform a division operation, it will give you a floating point number. But if you don't want it to be a floating point number, let's quickly go there. You see this last one here, integer division. If you don't want to get a floating point number, you have to do that. That means if we use 9 by 3, it gives you 3. But now let's see something. 98 by 5, 19.6. So if you don't want the 6, you perform 98 by, using the integer division, 6. 98 by 5, it gives you 19. So you should understand the difference between one division symbol and 2. For 1, it gives you a float answer. If you use the double division, it gives you an integer answer. So if we perform 78 by 3 and we perform 78 by 3, so I believe that is understood. Let's still go further to see what we have next. Next on our list is exponential. This is to calculate the exponent of a number, and some of us we understand it by saying this raised to the power of something. Let's take, for instance, you want to perform 2 raised to the power of 3. That means 2 times 2, 4, 4 times 2, 8. So you can see that if we were to perform 8 raised to the power of 9, so you should understand 8 times 9 and 8 raised to the power of 9. So this is what this does for us. You want to perform 6 raised to the power of 78 and then 6 times 78. I believe you get the idea. So the final one which we've not looked at is the modulo operator. Now what the modulo operator does is that it gives us the remainder of division. When you divide something, the remainder, the modulo operator gives you that. Let's take, for instance, we use something simple. 9 divided by 8. This is 1.125. Let's do something else that will make us understand better. 10 divided by 8. Sorry, 10 divided by 8. I want to use this so you understand. Okay, for 10 divided by 8 we have 1.25, but we know that if 10 divides 8, it goes one time and the remainder, what we are left with, is 2. So if you want that 2, you are going to do 10 modulo 10 modulo 8, and that gives you 2. 100 modulo 10. Remember, if you divide 100 by 10, there won't be any remainder, so you get 0. 12 modulo 8. I think there's a remainder of 4. 99999 modulo 6. Let's see if there will be any remainder. Yes, when you do this, you'll get a remainder of 3. Let's see. 99999 by 6. It goes this number of times with a remainder of 3. So that is what the operator does for us. So let us recap what we've seen. For this symbol, it performs basic addition. It combines one number with another, adds them together. For this, it performs subtraction. Next, this symbol performs multiplication. This one divides. Now for this one, it's called an exponential symbol, which most of us know as raised to the power. So if you put a value x raised to the power of y, this is what you do, x here, y here, and it does that for you. Now the modulo symbol gives you the remainder of your operation. You get to understand how you use this when you begin to talk about make basic calculations. You want to know if a year is going to be a leap year or not. This is what you're going to use in such cases. And then for this one, you perform integer division. While this one when you use this one to perform an operation, the answer will result in a float number. If you use this one, the answer will result in an integer operation. So let's continue. The next thing we're going to do is let's perform some quiz. This is where you do something on your own. So this is what I want you to do. I'll come back to. I want you to first of all think about this before you solve. I want you to find what this value is going to give you. 8 times 9 plus 2. I want you to think of this, and then when you think of the solution, I want you to then solve to use your Python to see what the answer will be. Then I want you to solve 2 plus 8 by 7, and then I also want you to do 9 times 7 minus 3 exponent 2. By the time you're done with this, which is going to be in another video, the answer you're going to get will expose you to something which is called operator precedence. That means that some operators have higher precedence than others. So I think this one has higher precedence, followed by this, and then this other one, and then will make a video to explain all of that. So what I want you to do is solve this and then try to see what your answer will be, and then probably try it on paper and see which one, the one which performs its operation first before the next one, so that you'll be exposed to operator precedence even before we talk about it. Next, we are going to talk about comments. What are comments? If I am to write a code, I'll make something here. Let's see the output of this first, then we talk about. For you to be able to run your code, you have to save that first, and then you come to your terminal. I've shown you how you open here. Instead of coming back to your terminal to do that, always you can open it in the code editor. Now that you are here, you can quickly type Python, whether it's Python 3 or whichever one you use, and then you give a space and you type the name of the file. In my case, it's numbers. You should be very because this is case sensitive, so you should be very conscious of what you're using. It should be exactly the same, and then you type the extension, which is .py. Now if we were to run this is what we've got. So let's see how this worked. Okay, in order to make this video short, not too long, I'll just leave it at this. So this is the solution to this problem. Now we're talking about comments. Comment is that part of the code which is not executed. You're writing a code, but you don't want a part of the code to be executed. You make comments there, and as a programmer, it is very important to make comments in your code, because if I begin to write some code, and then I have over 1,000 lines of code, and after some days I come back to it, I may not be able to understand what that a particular section of the code does and what the other one does not do. So it is very important that you make comments in your code. Like for instance, after I'm done with this, I want to do something about operator precedence here. I type operator precedence, and if I am to run this, let's see what happens. I'll save this, I'll come back here and I run. See what happens. Now I get an error telling me that file number, it's giving me the name and where it is, and it's telling me that there is an invalid error, which is known as syntax error. But in order to make this not to run, we're going to use comment, and then to use comment we use the pound symbol or the hash symbol. Now once you use the hash symbol, it changes it to a comment. If I'm to save and run again, the compiler will ignore that and just perform the operations. So if I go out away from here and I come back after some weeks and I look at this code, with this symbol here, I'll know that, okay, from this point I talked about operator precedence, so it is understood. I can even pass this to someone else. The person would see it and say, okay, this is operator precedence, and then I can go further to write operator, and if I pass this to someone else, the person will understand and say, okay, this is what he's trying to say, without asking, why did you put this, what does this do? So I believe you get the picture. So this is what comments are used for. You can write comments on a new line. You can even write comment beside a code. When you're done writing the code, you include comment. This is the first operator precedence. What happens is that this will execute, and but this one will not execute, and it will come back to this place and execute. So if I'm to save that again and run, you still see there is no error. But if I remove this symbol here and I run, you see I also get another syntax error. So that is why comments are very important in code. You can, unlike other programming languages where you can put multi-line comments, in Python you can only use this pound symbol for single comment. So whatever I write here will not be executed. So that is what comments are used for.